Hello, my name is Elissa, and I'm going to show you an activity that you can do for learning more about your human design chart with your incarnation cross. There is a aspect of your human design chart that determines what your incarnation cross is. And it will tell you the name of the cross, and then it will provide the gates that create that cross. And the gates are going to correlate to your top 2 planets on both of your chart sides with your gates. So on your conscious side, the side that represents your personality that you're aware of, the top 2 gates, the first one is the sun. It's a circle with a dot in the center. Represents the sun planet in your chart. And the second symbol represents the earth planet in your chart. And if you look on your unconscious side, the red side on the left-hand side of your chart, that represents your design, also your unconscious traits and gifts and talents, and the top 2 planets there. So your sun on that side and your earth on that side as well. And so those 4 gates are going to tell you what your incarnation cross is. I can't remember how many there are, but there are hundreds of incarnation crosses out there. And the incarnation cross represents your kind of purpose in life. It's what you will be fulfilling when you are living your highest self, when you are aligned in your energy type and with your strategy and authority. And so when all of those pieces line up and you go through the deconditioning process, which takes 7 years, I've heard. I think I've been on a deconditioning process since, I don't know, about 15 years ago, but we can talk about that another day. We're talking about the human design deconditioning process specifically. That after you get through the deconditioning process and you are living your authentic life, living to your truth, following your strategy and authority, not living a perfect life because nothing's perfect, but, living your best potential, your highest potential of what you could with what you're working with. That's your incarnation cross. And there's another system that complements human design that's called Gene Keys that works with the gates in a much more charismatic way. Those are my words. In a much more sophisticated way. They have models that show you how your gates interact together and can show up as groups in your life, and also like creating a path, showing you which parts of yourself you're going to need to overcome before you can get to, financial freedom or, whatnot. So all that to say that the incarnation crosses are really powerful tools in human design for you to take a look at those gates and ask yourself, does that gate define me? Is that something that resonates with me? Now, remember, for your unconscious gates, you have to ask other people if that describes you, because you are not designed to be able to see that part of yourself. And so this is the activity. Look at your gates. Look at what it says that type of person who has that gate defined acts like, and what it looks like in their life, and what they need to look out for, in terms of potentially harming themselves or their loved ones or the collective of society, based on having that perspective of being able to express that unique gift or talent. And really ask yourself some truths. Like, do these things show up in your life? Does it resonate with you? You'll see my reaction of what it has done for me, but I know that there are other reactions out there. So I'd be very interested to hear what you think about your incarnation cross. I will tell you that when I first heard about my incarnation cross, I was a little grumpy about it. Like, I loved learning about my manifestorness in human design, not so much my incarnation cross. And I have come to appreciate it, and I am learning to appreciate it more and more. But the reason why I didn't like my incarnation cross is because I wasn't being honest with myself about who I was when I first came across human design. I had a lot of beliefs about myself that I thought were attached to my ability to create resources in this world and be worthy of love. And I've been working through a lot of that since then. So I think a lot of that has shifted, and I'm starting to really embrace my incarnation cross and just go for it in my businesses in terms of owning. Well, you'll see. So let's just go right into it. My incarnation cross activity requires one piece of paper and your chart, and you have to pull your gates from you can either look from the incarnation cross section, or you can actually just look at your chart and say, okay, well, my conscious sun, so on the right hand side, the top symbol, the circle with the dot in it, has a number next to it. What's that number? That, for me, that's 62. And the decimal point doesn't matter for this part, the incarnation cross, at least not that I know of. I think the incarnation cross just uses the gate number combination. So for me, it's going to be 62, 61. My earth is 61. So my sun is 62, my earth is 61 on my conscious side. And then my unconscious sun is 42, and my unconscious earth is 32. So I have the right angle cross of Maya, which has conscious 62, 61 and unconscious 42, 32. It's just a coincidence that my sun and my earth on my conscious side are both in the 60s, and that my unconscious are lower than 60. That has nothing to do with anything. It just happens to be. So what I did is I did this little activity where I wrote out what my incarnation cross is, and then I used the four corners of the paper to write the gate numbers to say, okay, well, on my conscious side, the sun is 62, so it's in the top right-hand corner of the paper. And on my conscious side, the earth is 61, so it's in the bottom right-hand corner of my paper. And then my unconscious sun is 42. It's in the top left-hand corner. And then my unconscious earth is 32, and it's in the bottom left-hand corner of my paper. And then I pulled out all my books and research and started looking up these gates and just writing down how these gates show up in the terms of like people's life purpose and things that they dedicate themselves to doing. So like, what does it look like in the real world to have these gates, basically? Not necessarily trying to say how am I going to make money, but like, what's the energy of using these gates look like in reality? Like, who does these things? Who else out there has these gates, and what does that look like in terms of their satisfaction in their work and their families, their spirituality, all of these different things? So I started out with my conscious sun, 62, and that's the gate of details. And when I looked that up, it said that there are people in this in the world who, or this gate expresses its energy through people as professional organizing. And I run a professional organizing company right now. So I was very interested to see that the gate of details, of course, it makes sense with organizing, the gates of details. But that was kind of cool to think about it in terms of it showing up. So gate 62 shows up in my professional life through my professional organizing work. It also had things like computer programming, which is something that I've considered, and it's something that's sexy to me. And I've dabbled in some scripts and stuff, but it's not my calling. I definitely fall more into the professional organizing land. And even then, I'm falling out of that and going into business organizing now with all of my experience in business. So, and then the next one was organizational experiments. So, like, the gate of 62 like would be all about testing like implementing a change in corporate culture, or which I've done. I've also been part of committees that like were there to critique the corporate environment and say what needed to be done differently in order for people to experience more joy in their jobs and therefore be more productive employees. So the gate 62 is called the gate of details, and it's the energy for the small details that keep the momentum of opinions flowing toward energy. I love that. I'm sure I got it from Karen Curry Parker's books, so go buy them all. But the energy for the small details that keep the momentum of opinions flowing toward energy. So this is really significant for me. Not only is it a gate that I have, but it is in my incarnation cross. It's in my top 2 planets. And those planets, I should have mentioned this earlier, those planets represent, so the energy in those gates that sit in your sun and your earth represent 70% of your experience of the world and the world's experience of you. So we are complicated beings, and we have all these different gates, and all these different gates interact with each other, and we have these energy types. We have all these different things that interact with each other and mean different things as a result. But when it comes down to it, like you know what? I think I'm mixing that up with your profile. Your profile is your top 2 decimal points, and that's 70% of the energy in your chart. Okay, so scratch that. But regardless, it is still incredibly powerful in terms of the direction that it sets for your design. So the placement of those planets is a natural first place to look when you start looking at what your planets mean in those gates, because it tells you which parts of your life are impacted by that gate. And we'll get to that in a second, but your sun and your earth are your purpose gates and your grounding gates. So it tells you what someone with your design will experience the most satisfaction and peace through your purpose, and how you can find yourself to be most grounded in this world to make good decisions for yourself. And so those combined on your conscious and unconscious side are what create your incarnation cross. So hopefully that helps paint a better picture about your incarnation cross and why it's so important and powerful. So we've only done one of my gates so far. We've done gate 62. So let's move on to the next one, which is my conscious earth, which is in 61. And this one is fascinating. This one is the gate of mystery. And this is one of the things that I have known to be true about myself my whole life, but I didn't know why, and I didn't know what to do with it. And it presented itself in really weird ways. And I just found myself continuing to do it anyways and migrating towards it and not being able to stop myself. And this just, I died laughing when I read this the first time, that I had the gate of mystery and that it was part of my incarnation cross. So this is the thing that grounds me in the world. Brace yourself. 61 is the gate of mystery. So when I looked up this gate, it says things like divine knowing, just knowing what is. So I am grounded in my intuition, and I can't tell you why. Try to explain that to the world. In my life, it has showed up in ways like discovering human design, my obsession with diamond approach, which is another system that doesn't make any sense, that is wonderful. Angels, Bigfoot. Oh my God. I've seen every single Bigfoot, everything. I want to go to the museum. I would wear the t-shirts. Bigfoot people hire me and pay me lots of money. I will talk about Bigfoot all day long. The fascination behind the fact that there are so many different cultures that have seen Bigfoot. Oh, guys, I can't wait to start that series. Okay. The occult, mysteries, fairies. I'm obsessed with fairies, have been my whole life. They had helped like inspire hope and joy in my world when Christianity didn't do the trick anymore. And mystery, like my philosophy. I studied the classics in college, and like they were studying the mysteries of the universe and the soul and nature. And I'm a philosopher. And so I'm grounded in my philosophizing, and I'm grounded in inner self discovery as part of my mystery. This is like self-care. Creating this podcast for me is self-care for me, if that doesn't blow your mind. Because I'm delving into the mysteries of myself, and I'm sharing that with the world, and that's so beautiful. No. Yeah. Okay. Next we have the unconscious sun 42, which is the gate of finishing things. So I'm a manifestor whose unconscious sun is the gate of finishing things. This is my life. So I like to start things from scratch, but I'm really great at taking things from halfway there and on fire to being perfectly finished. But then I don't know what to do once it's there and perfect, and I need to hand it back and let somebody else like run it until it breaks again and make it better at that point. And yeah, so that shows up like project manager, consultant, helping other people with their stuff. Because I want to start it and I want to finish it, but I don't want to do the middle part. This has also been very freeing for me because I have been a pretty good little generator in a generator's world, and I didn't understand why I could do so many parts of it so well if I wasn't meant to do the whole thing by myself. And that's been a really tough life lesson. And this has helped poke a little bit of fun with it and help me kind of get more comfortable with not being in charge of the whole thing and the whole process, and just jumping in and doing the bits that I'm really great at. which happens to be at a lot of different points in the process, but not throughout the entire process. So jumping in the middle and bringing it to completion is what that gate is all about. And then the last gate of my incarnation cross is my unconscious earth, gate 32. And that shows up in the world like an investor or a business entrepreneur. I hope to be an investor one day. Right now, I'm looking for investors. But I definitely can relate to that business entrepreneur piece. It's the gate of continuity. And it says intuitive knowing of which ideas will work out. So I am unconsciously grounded. So my unconscious purpose in life is, or purpose in to be fulfilled is finishing things. And my unconscious groundedness is in continuity. And the knowing of what's going to work out and what isn't, just inherently. I know these things. I can't tell you why, especially with my other grounded gate of mystery. So they're like, what the heck is that crazy Bigfoot lady doing? But I could tell you it will make money and you won't invest in it. But then in 5 years, you'll turn around and you'll look at that building. You'll be like, I guess that idea worked, huh? Yeah, that's me. Love starting things in this world. It's so fun. It's getting better though. I have to say this reflection of this incarnation cross is really helping to bring that out. So I also have the right angle cross of Maya like description of what that means. So let me find that. See here. I'm just going to pull up one. And I'll tell you where it came from. I'm going to look at the A Human Design website. It's www.ahumandesign.com. And it's looking at the right angle cross of Maya, dates 62, 61, 42, 32. Although this is backwards. I don't know if it matters. So this would be somebody's conscious and then like their conscious and unconscious would be swapped for me. So let me actually find the right one. I'm going to go to the humdes.com website. This is the website I use for all of my charts and managing charts for my people and my clients. And I like this website a lot. I'll actually go ahead and share my screen so you can see that. No, I won't. Because I don't want you to know my people's. Okay. So I'm just going to pull up mine. This one doesn't actually have a description for the cross. So you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to go back to the other one and we'll just do a quick. I just wanted to give you a quick description of it. But if you wanted to look mine up, you could always check it out. So this says that the right angle cross of Maya represents a specific interplay of energies in human design, combining the forces of gates 32, 42, 62, and 61. This particular composition encourages individuals towards survival, growth, practicality, and the quest for inner truth. Located in the spleen center, gate 32 is known as the gate of continuity or survival. It embodies the energy for preservation, endurance, and the knack to adapt and survive through varying circumstances. Gate 42, residing in the sacral center, is the gate of growth or completion in human design. It encapsulates the energy for maturation and completion of processes, fostering personal transformative journeys. Gate 62, nestled in the throat center, carries the title of the Gate of Details or Practicality. It holds the energy for managing practical details, highlighting the necessity of realistic and logical thinking when conveying ideas and knowledge. Housed in the head center, Gate 61 is recognized as the Gate of Inner Truth or Wonder. This gate drives the quest for inner truth, sparking deep contemplation, introspection, and a sense of awe and wonder about the universe. The amalgamation of these energies births the right angle cross of Maya. Individuals with this design often manifest a unique fusion of survival instincts, transformative growth, practical thinking, and inner wonder. If you possess the right angle cross of Maya in your human design chart, you are likely gifted with a special ability to adapt and endure varying circumstances, navigate transformative journeys, think practically, and delve deep into introspection. Your innate survival instincts, growth-oriented nature, practical thinking, and introspective capacity equips you with a balanced approach to personal and professional evolution, adaptation, reflection, and implementation. The right angle cross of Maya manifests practically as a balance between continuity, growth, practicality, and inner truth. Your survival instincts and growth-oriented nature allow you to evolve and adapt to varying circumstances efficiently. Simultaneously, your practical thinking and introspective nature enable you to reflect and strategize effectively. By understanding and harnessing these energies, you can journey through life with a unique blend of endurance, growth, practicality, and introspection. So there are tons of other interpretations of how those gates work together in order to align into somebody's incarnation cross. And I enjoy reading like 5, 6, 10 different variations and then just kind of gleaning from that what it means for me. And I continue to do that. And so here's my right angle cross of Maya paper example activity so that you can follow and do something along the same lines and learn more about your own incarnation cross as well. And I dive even deeper into the next series, which is an evaluation of my planets. So we have a lot of planets on our chart and numbers associated with them, and I wanted to know what that meant. And I thought maybe I would learn more about my incarnation cross in general and just kind of how the rest of my gates kind of work together. So check out the next episodes for that information. Bye.